Hi folks, welcome to Trading in Zones. Today we will cover a very nice move which we have seen this week on Nifty, a follow through video predominantly on my analysis which I was discussing earlier with all of you in terms of what the support and resistance was. This was done last week, and I was mentioning that if it opens gap up there could be a possible rally. The rally actually has extended way beyond my expectation from what I thought is a probable move. However, we'll have to see how it is going to sustain around the 10,300 odd levels, and I just marked that in the yellow color just to show you guys that that's the gap fill resistance, which is a probability at this point in time, and beyond that we might see 10,700 range, which can be a possibility. All right, so let's go back and see how Nifty is behaving on a weekly basis, because on a daily basis there is a lot of noise because there is a lot of gap ups and gap downs which happens on Nifty. So usually it is better for us to start boiling down or start drilling down from the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart we can see a very strong close now. It's broken out quite a few weeks high. So we have not seen this kind of a high from the 27th of April till today. And you can see that quite a few weeks high is now completely broken out, and we are seeing that one of the yellow lines which we have drawn where there is a gap also acts as a candlestick support over a period of time. It is a range where we are seeing that multiple times there was support which was taken. So this could be a probable resistance area for us to watch in the coming week. But any close or any opening above this can probably drive the market towards 10,750 range, as we see the gap on top right over here if it continues to rally. So as predicted by quite a few tech folks and folks who have been watching OI, I've heard a lot of people saying that around 10,000 we should see resistance, around 10,100 we should see resistance, but market seems to be going pretty much the way most of them predicted, as against their prediction, as what I've seen. Even I was not expecting such a big move. I was expecting maybe around 9,900 odd levels this week, but to my surprise, within the first 2 days of the week, the market was trading close to 10,000, and it started moving above 10,000. So now I'm expecting it to move further up as we go forward, given the strong closure what we have, and also a strong support area which was probably a resistance is now broken through. The reason why I say it's a strong support area is because we have seen back in 2018 March, and as well as when the fall happened in the month of September October, we could see that the strong support area was around 9,900 odd levels. All right, so we could see that this is a place or a point where the price revise kind of reversed a couple of times, and it gave us a decent rally. So this should have acted as a strong resistance for Nifty. But now on the current weekly closing basis, we are seeing that this is closed, and this now becomes a point for us to watch going forward. If there are any retraces, would 9,900 come into picture, or would it move down to take support on this particular gap, or would it sustain right over here to make a new high, would be the next point to watch. And at the same time, if 10,300 would be a resistance, or would the market open gap up again and move through, then would it move towards 10,749 is the next probability. But looking at the way the indicator is set up, the way RSI is broken through, and the way there is a probability of a little more up move on this leg of rally before we see any type of correction. I'm expecting a probable move as well, up move as well, because the setup seems to be pretty strong, and it has taken a very strong support at a certain range of around 30 odd RSI. Now obviously it's in a very strong bull level, and I'm expecting it to continue moving up. So I'm expecting at least around 55 odd levels to come up on the RSI weekly basis. If that is going to happen, we might see some more amount of rally, maybe towards 10,400, 10,500 is my expectation. But I could be wrong. As I said, there are quite a few resistances which are there on the way, and we need to really watch to see how the news flows and how the market is going to react. The other way of also looking at market in terms of trying to get to know how much the retrace could move is through a Fibonacci. So if we see the last high which it had created to the last low, if we are able to put a Fibonacci, we can see from a retracement perspective 50% retrace is kind of crossed. Usual retraces on resistances on most of the swing, it has to come around 50%. So I could clearly see here the weekly close is above 50%, and that's also the same price point as we have kind of drawn this pink line right over here around 9,950 odd levels, which is a support. 9,969, approximately 9,950 plus or minus 5-10 points if I have not got the accurate points over here. That could act as a support in the coming few days, as what we see. And also, as we see, as I was telling you, that if it moves, then 10,500 could be a probability, as what I see from RSI perspective. I can see that that is also a Fibonacci resistance which can come into play around 10,550 levels, right? So some movement in the positive direction is a very high probability, at least looking at the weekly chart from an analysis perspective. And quickly moving to daily chart, we can see what happened over here. There was a strong support which kicked in already, confirming that this breakout was to sustain. And we could see at a weekly level, this 9,950 was very key level. When you switch on to the hourly chart and when you kind of come down, you could see strong retrace. Today morning, opening gap up, tried to move, came down, but demand kicked in as it filled gap, and then it started moving up, though not very smooth, but the movement was pretty strong. And also closing the last 15 minutes, we could see a very strong closing happening on the index, which showed that quite a few stocks were being bought, and this gave a very strong closing while closing of the day, because usually the last 15 minutes we wouldn't see such strong rally, because if you see, mostly if there are strong rallies, there are probabilities of gap ups. Usually there is some amount of selling and profit booking which happens when the market rallies over a period of time, which started off at around 215. We could see some amount of retrace coming into play, but it looks like people were interested even after the market had passed 315, and this could be a possibility. Don't quote me on it. It could be a possibility that the positional players have bought a significant amount of positions, which has pulled the market significantly up on the last 15 minutes. Because for last 15 minutes, this is a significant movement which I can see here from 10,130 odd range all the way to 10,170 odd range. So a 40-point movement which didn't happen so strongly through the day, but happens in the last 15 minutes. There could be something which we can expect, and it is showing some of those things. If you are following SGX Nifty or if you're following US markets, you can see that there is a very strong rally in the international market, and it could be a point that we might see a strong gap up opening on Monday, right? So some of these things are observations. So the key level for Nifty now stays at around 9,950 for me from a support perspective. And from an intraday perspective, obviously we have a very strong resistance over here, which has been the last 2-3 days resistance. From a price perspective, price has not passed through this. We are seeing a pretty good strength on the RSI as well. So it is something which is strongly rallied even on hourly and on a daily basis. The RSI is obviously moved up significantly in the last week or two, right? So we could see, though a lot of choppy candles here, we could see that RSI has significantly moved from some of its levels. Though it came down slightly over here, it kind of created a divergence, and then we could see a strong up move, especially right from here. After this particular low area, there was a strong up move. So this still seems to be strong, and if you see on a daily basis, there have been times where the market has rallied all the way up to 70-78 RSI. But if I take recent times into consideration, from the November 2019 rally, it's not been too high. So this seems to be a significant high. So there is a very high possibility, given the point where it is closed, there could be more rally coming into play. I mean, all these are pretty much derived based on price. You can always read about RSI indicator, and what I see from the price perspective, obviously the last 15 minutes rally and the way the support is coming into play at 9,950, which was also a weekly support on the longest of the time frame, as we saw from almost last year. So this becomes a very key level for me, and that's the reason you can see that I've highlighted that on the red color. And from a technical perspective, the way it is moving, the weekly charts are looking very, very strong. So we might end up seeing 10,500 if it respects Fibonacci 61% odd level, or if it's going to go price action and fill the gap, maybe around 10,750 might be tested as well. Would it happen in the next week, or would it take more time? Would it go into a consolidation? We need to wait and watch, and time would answer that question. At this point in time, this seems to be a strong rally, and we can expect more up move in the coming week. All right, so thanks guys. I mean, this has been one of those things which I've been thinking of reviewing. Nifty has rallied, so the stocks which we reviewed last week on the video, if you've watched the last week video, I reviewed Zeal, and I was suggesting that if there is a retrace to around 171, we can give it a buy, or a buy on a breakout. So this is given a very strong move. It opened at 174 on Monday, and it's closed at around 210. Zeal was one of the stocks which I had reviewed, which you can see here. The other stock which we had also seen was DLF, right? So DLF also has given a decent move, though very choppy in the last 5 days, but it did give a decent move out here before getting into a resistance. At least for a couple of days we could see some amount of rally, and it's pretty much holding the level. It seems to be pretty strong around this area. We can continue to watch. If it's able to close above the resistance level, this could be the this could also give a next leg of rally towards 169, 170 odd range. So that's about it, and I guess these reviews are helping you all in terms of getting a fair understanding of how the Nifty is expected to move, and what my thought process is while I am trading on a day trade. I will try to post as many live trades as possible starting next week, and catch you all guys during live trades, and look forward to a little more, few more videos which have been pending from my end over the weekend. We'll try to create them, upload them. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you all on Monday. Thanks guys. Bye.